Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. Although I'm not Kilt-Man today, I'm actually coveralls man. Yes, and I'm wearing the blue coveralls from the later Blumhouse trilogy of Michael Myers movies, their Haddonfield cycle. As many of you know, who've been the stalwarts who've stood beside me since I began this channel many moons ago, I massively prefer the green coveralls, the olive green coveralls from the first two movies. People, even to this day, go like, no, he was wearing blue back then as well. No, he wasn't. He was wearing green. And right over there, and I was going to put it on a dummy and a mannequin before, but I kind of forgot to do it. Having arranged this plethora of masks you see beside me, I kind of forgot to put the costume on a mannequin, because that one, well, I'll show you. Oh, come here. This one is heavily blood stained. It has all the bullet holes in it. It has the knife thrust in it as well. It stinks of petrol and oil and all sorts. I've soaked this thing, but it doesn't half reek. But it smells nice. It smells of garages and mechanics and engineering, all stuff that your man here hasn't got a clue about. But it smells like proper grafting. And I've got all the bullet holes in it, and whenever I wear this, I apply more blood, fresh blood to it, like, fake blood, obviously. Come on now. Fake blood, yeah, we all agree it's fake. And it looks great, honestly, it looks great, and it feels good as well. Now, the blue coveralls I'm wearing now, as I say, are from this brand new, well, it's not even brand new now. We had the first one in 2018, and then, we've waited, it'll be almost 2 years, for Halloween Kills to come out this October. And the trailer dropped yesterday, and he is still wearing the blue coveralls, which I haven't yet noticed just how badly damaged they're meant to be, because you've seen the mask that I created. In the long run up to getting anything more of Halloween Kills, we had the teaser, and a few tantalising shots of Michael in the full costume emerging from near the Strode, Laurie's abode, all ablaze, and with a fireman's tool there as well, and you can barely see the mask, and you get, it's definitely charred. We know it's going to be charred and damaged, but the costume itself the coveralls, you couldn't really see what damage was done to them. So I painstakingly worked on my own imaginary variation of that mask there, the one with the rifle, the bullet hole in the side of its face, and the bloody streaks and all that. And I worked on that, did a big video on that, using real ash as well from our fire pit, real ash, and really mashed it all in, and it looks great. Of course, now with this trailer, we've seen how the mask looks, and it looks amazing. And I realised that I was on the money for a lot of it, but there's a few bits I didn't think were going to happen, like a bit of mottling effect that was going to take place. So I'm gonna work more on it. But having said that, I like the way that my mask looks. I haven't arranged it at the moment, it's sitting at the back there. But anyway, so what this little video is about is we've now had time to watch again that trailer. And everything I said first time round, A, it's brilliant, B, it shows too much, I still stand by. It is a great crowd pleasing, fan baiting, absolutely on the money, full throttle trailer. We've waited so long for this. I'm not surprised that they gave a lot too much away. It's a lengthy trailer, 2.5 minutes or whatever it is, but you see 8, maybe 10 kills that he does in it. Now, a lot of complaints have been that, they're showing way too much, they're showing too many kills. Trust me, folks, and I know this for a fact, that's the tip of the iceberg. The bloodshed in this movie is off the scale. The body count is colossal, truly. But we're going to discuss this in a bit more. I think maybe it showed, although I love the trailer, it does show too much. It shows too much of his actual survival from the big fire at the end of Halloween 2018. We knew he was going to get out of it. That wasn't the thing. But it was taking out of the emergency crew. You saw quite a lot of that take place, didn't you? And it was great. It was like a mini movie in its own right. and you get the gist of what's happening at the hospital, Haddonfield General. You get the gist of like the lynch mob, which is it's been, stoked up. Let's go and hunt him down, and a few other random kills and stuff like, and a few callbacks. But what kind of does annoy me a little bit is the fact that we know that Nancy Stevens from Halloween 1, Halloween 2, which is not in this timeline, I know, and Halloween H2O, who plays Nurse Marion Chambers, who's great, and she's in a few John Carpenter movies as well. She returns to this, and in a scene very similar to Michael Myers' initial escape from Smith's Grove, where his hand comes down the window and smashes the passenger side window open, and he manages to grab her hair and all that, like, and she manages to get out, and he gets the car and drives off. But for God's sake, no one taught him to drive. Well, someone around here must have given him lessons. And she gets killed, and we see the attack on her very similar to that sequence at the start of Halloween and the original 1978 Halloween. And we see the attack on her, and we see her body wearing that mask from Halloween 3, the witch mask from Halloween 3, and it's definitely her, and it looks like she's got chains around her neck, and it's in a children's sort of play area. There's other bodies wearing the other masks from Halloween 3, the nice callback to Halloween 3, because in effect Halloween Kills in this timeline is Halloween 3. Halloween 78, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills is the third part. So, although we know we're going to get another one, so it's the original and an added trilogy, as it were. But she is shackled up in chains, and the mask, like the other two masks, are bloodied. And we know she's got the same gear on, it's the same clothes. So they've given that away, that Nancy Stevens' character gets offed. Now, I mean, that's not a shocker really, but I'd rather have watched that play out in the movie than be shown that in the trailer. Did they really not think that people are going to watch this trailer over and over and over again and spot things? That said, I still love the trailer. I've watched it so many times now, and it gets me fired up completely. No pun intended, they're getting fired up there. But I think it works great, but they do show too much. And I understand the criticisms of that trailer. But anyway, so what else do we learn from it? Well, let's go back to these masks. We know that in Halloween 3, these masks, the Don Post made those masks. I've done videos on each of these separately, and Halloween 3 itself, which I adore that movie. And we know that Trick or Treat Studios then made their own versions of the Don Post masks from that movie, which are these here right now. And it's been confirmed by Tots and by Don Post Studios that the masks you see in this movie are the Trick or Treat Studios masks. And as I said in the previous video, my reaction is that damn well that they're going to release these masks again with all bloodied up and that, like, to mimic what you see in this movie. Now, I know they've already released them as well, like they're coming out, the glow in the dark variations. So this endless cash cow franchise merchandising juggernaut that is Halloween franchise is just not going to stop. It's just going to barrel onwards and suck more people into it, like, and make more money. But in Halloween 2018, we saw kids wearing these trick-or-treating, but the bodies that you see, two of them are a little merry-go-round, and you've got poor Marion Chambers is hauled up on some kind of climbing frame with the chains around their neck, massively bloodied up. So, but the other two bodies, the pumpkin and the skull, are obviously adults as well. And in fact, I think one of them is the nurse that you see, and the sexy nurse getting into the car with her husband, and Michael looks at him, she sees him, clocks him, but then she gets distracted trick-or-treating and gets back in the car, and then he turns off and does his one-take shot house-to-house rampage in the previous movie. But one of them is definitely her, because we see it in the trailer as well, struggling, knocked out of the car and trying to get away, but obviously injured, and then she's slumped over in one of these masks. Something I will mention though, can you see there on the skull, Can you see the nasal bone there? Now, what I find quite amusing is that in Halloween 3, that mask, the Don Post version, has that white nasal bone, quite apparent. When Tots brought that mask out, some of them, from what I know, had the white piece in there, but most didn't. Now, this one, I've actually applied that myself because mine was blank in there as well, so I've applied that myself. And in this trailer, you can see quite clearly that it's blank. It's just got the black cavity where the nasal bone would be. So they're definitely Tots. We know that for a fact, and it's been confirmed. I think it's nice because a lot of us are mask collectors, and we go, oh look, oh, it's a Tots. They're using a Tots mask. It's even got the silver shamrock on the back of it. You see them as well. So that's all cool. Now, what else was I going to say? I mean, the big giveaway. The big giveaway at 9. Obviously, Nancy Stevens. That was a bit of a damn it, and showing a bit too much maybe of his escape from the blazing inferno. By the way, for fans of classic horror, did you spot that callback to Bride of Frankenstein? What you've got, because in Bride of Frankenstein, which is the celebrated James Whale sequel to the original, classic Boris Karloff Frankenstein, and at the end of Frankenstein, he battles his creator in a flaming, fiery conflagration atop a windmill, a gothic windmill, and the whole thing collapses. His maker, Frankenstein, survives, but Frankenstein's monster plunges through into this fiery inferno. But at the start of Bride of Frankenstein, the sequel, several years later, all the burning, smouldering ruins, all the villagers are all gloating over the top. Everyone sort of traipses away, but the mother and father, who are actually played by different characters in the first Frankenstein film, who lost their little daughter Maria at the side of Lake Geneva, I think it is, and she's throwing daisy chains into the water, and Frankenstein's monster just thinks, oh, this is great, and in all innocence, he picks the little girl up and he throws her in. It was a scene cut from a lot of versions. I've talked about this a lot as well, I know, and I know you guys know this, so I'm not going to stress over it. And obviously she drowns and her body's brought back in. That's how and everyone knows, oh, there's a monster out there. But he didn't mean to do it, I know. In the sequel, the mother and father, played by different people, and the father's like, I don't. The mother's trying to, his wife's trying to pull him away, and he's going, like, no, I want to see his body, I want to see his burnt remains. And he, like the fireman that you see in this trailer, falls through the floor into, the fire trap where Michael was caught and imprisoned. This guy falls through, and he meets the monster, because beneath that fiery windmill, there was also a big sort of cave, a big pit, which is flooded, but the monster survives, and the monster throttles him, kills him, and then the mother, the wife, is up the top, and she's going, hands, come on, hands. A nice pun there, because she reaches down with her hand to reach Hans' hand, but what she pulls up is the monster, and the monster just grabs her and chucks her in, kills her as well. But in Halloween Kills, you quite clearly see the fireman drops through all this, and Michael's obviously down there, and Michael's going to kill him, and this other guy up top's going I can't see you, copy. The red radio's like, copy. You just be going are you all right down there? Copy. Fuck off. Copy. Affirmative. Roger that. I'm on fire. Copy that. And he reaches down, but Michael's hand comes up so. I think that's a lovely hark back. Whether it's deliberate, I don't know. But for me, I thought, nice one, Bride of Frankenstein. Gotcha. Copy that. Roger that. So it's made up with that, obviously. And all the kills are pretty grisly and spectacular. You're adding to Michael's arsenal of weapons, the Halligan tool, and the metal buzzsaw to cut through wrecked cars and other debris. And it gets the fireman's trying to wield it to put onto Michael. And Michael just takes it off and puts it through his own faceplate, and and another guy's faceplate gets done in. And again, I said, from our point of view, we see we're looking at it, and the faceplate cracks as some tool is plunged through, and blood sprays everywhere. That fluorescent tube he uses to go and stab a woman in the throat. Oh dear. It's like he's got a lightsaber for a second there. takes it off, like, and he's like, oh, and it's still glowing, and he shoves it through, and the killing of the other person who's over the kitchen table, as the woman who's been hit with the fluorescent tube is just slumped over in the foreground, and in the background you see this body over the table, and he does what was one of the epic poster designs for Halloween 2018, and it was a shot which mimicked what you saw in a lot of posters for Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, where Michael's just like that, sort of side on, and the knife is right above his head, about to plunge it down, and he does that to this victim, who's prostrate over this table. Whoosh! Oh dear. The mob rule on the streets. Now we know he loses his mask at some point, and who is it? Karen is Laurie's daughter, and Alison is her daughter, so Laurie's granddaughter, and it's Alison who you see with a pump action shotgun, let's go get him and all that, like, no, I don't see anyone else innocent die tonight, and she's got the mask, you want this, come and get it and all that, like, and the mob descend on him. Well, if rumours are true, that sequence is going to be an absolute barnstormer, the one to bring the house down. It's meant to be like he's unmasked, and so I don't know how they're going to treat that, because you're gonna see his face. We're just gonna cut away all the time from James Duke Courtney. I don't know. Part of me doesn't ever want to see Michael Myers' face, but part of me does, because they've already broke that taboo in the first movie, and I don't mind it. I got over the fact that he was an older guy with a bit of a slap head, sketchy sort of, silver fox beard going on there. So I didn't mind that, and he can look suitably sinister with that glassy eye that he's got, which you can see there in the that piece of shit eye appliance that Tots brought out to go with your 2018 Michael Myers mask. And trust me, folks, if Michael Myers had fucking eyelashes like that, he'd be a supermodel. That is just ridiculous. But anyway, it's in there, so that's just a display thing. I've got another mask about which I'd wear, but anyway. So you're going to see that sequence where the mob do descend upon him, and whatever weapons they're wielding, he takes them off them. And even though he's lost a few fingers, let's not forget that, and you do see it in this trailer, he hasn't suddenly miraculously regrown some fingers. When you see him grabbing someone's head and pounding it, there's quite clearly a couple of fingers have gone. But he's super strong. We know this. You know where I'm going with this, folks. I've banged on about it so much, but we're going there. We're definitely going there. And so he's going to take the weapons off each of these and use them against them, and he's going to take them all down and prove himself to be absolutely unstoppable, a force of supernature, not a man of flesh and blood. So here we go. Let's get into this now. This is the most intriguing thing I think about this trailer, is that they let this bit of dialogue go through, and I hope it's in there. I mean, it comes over like a voiceover, like during a montage of scenes that you see, and she says like he's just a man, flesh and blood. But what man can survive that fire? The more he kills, the more he transcends. What is that about? You know my feelings on this. He's been supernatural from fucking day one. Whether you want to believe the druidic prologue to the original book, which I love, by the way, and I've talked about it a lot, so I'm not going to elaborate on it here. Whether you believe that or not, like, you just take the first movie from '78 at face value. Laurie puts on the most damage to him anyway. He will be stabbed in the neck with a knitting needle. He'll have a coat hanger thrust into his eye, that glassy eye there. He'll have his own knife shoved into his guts. He will then be shot 6 times to fall off a balcony, a back-breaking fall, and yet he'll still be arrested just round the corner. And no one's ever queried, how the fuck did he survive that? Right, okay. Now, let's forget about Halloween 2, because in this timeline it doesn't exist. But in Halloween 2018, he is yet again shot. He is stabbed. He is hit by a car. He is set on fire. He has everything done to him. He loses fingers. He gets shot in the face. Blowing. Oh, I keep thinking I've got the other mask here with the damage on it, but I haven't got it with me. So half his cheek's been blown away as well, which is why I wouldn't mind seeing James Duke Courtney without the mask on and seeing what the effect is on that face, the prosthetic there. So he's definitely not your normal man. But is Laurie finding some kind of spiritual connection with him and she's working things out that this guy, no, he's not human. He's not just flesh and blood. Something else is driving him. The more he kills, the more he transcends. That's a weird choice of words there. Transcends. That means like you're passing over, you're becoming something else. But it's a more sort of spiritual terminology than say, transforming or metamorphosing into something else, like a butterfly in a cocoon. So what's that about? And I like it because they are finally addressing this fact. They spent so long, David Gordon Green and oh god, all the names which I've forgotten now, who wrote it, and even John Carpenter as well, his involvement with this. Because to John Carpenter, he's just a bogeyman. There's nothing, he's not remotely human. The dialogue is, the explanation comes from Sam Loomis. This is not a man, looking at a wall, not seeing the wall, looking beyond the wall, looking ahead to this night, inhumanly patient. The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes, and all this. This is not a man. This is just evil, and all that. It's not just rhetoric. That's exactly what he is. Carpenter's genius with Halloween, the first Halloween, was that he didn't explain anything. He gave like a prologue, but you don't know who Michael Myers is. You don't know, what is this guy? He did this deed as a kid, and then he escapes and he commits the same crime over and over again, but he won't die. He's like, oh my god, he's like a Terminator. And it's shock upon shock, revelation upon revelation, that no matter what you do to him, he's still going to come back. Well, folks, I don't care what your stance on this is. The fact he keeps coming back no matter what happens to him, he's not human. And if you don't think that, well, hey, happy days to you. You're fucking wrong, Otherwise, this is very, very bad writing, because no one can survive that kind of shit. Anyway, so it looks like they're going to address that now with Halloween Kills, or at least begin to, because this is what I'm coming to. This film, this middle film in this trilogy, is the bloodbath. Most of the kills are going to happen in this. David Gordon Green has already said this, that Halloween ends the final part of this trilogy, which will close off this Laurie Strode, Michael Myers cycle, especially with Jamie Lee Curtis involved in it. She won't be anymore, I wouldn't have thought. It's going to end with the next movie. But he said this one, Halloween Kills, is the bloodbath, the action one. This is the zeitgeist, the blitzkrieg. But the one after, it's going to be a very personal thing, and it's going to be a lot slower. It's going to be a lot quieter, more intimate, more personal. Now, I'm very intrigued by that, because if Laurie's beginning to realise, look, I've got a connection. I know something's happening. He isn't just a man. Well, no shit, Sherlock. At the end of this trailer, we know that, and pretty much, I reckon that shot at the end of the trailer where she's got the knife and she's walking down the corridor in the hospital, and she's pumped adrenaline into herself, she's been gut stabbed and everything, and she's going out. I think she'll sit out most of this episode, this installment. She'll learn bits and bobs in the hospital, but I don't think you're going to see her involved in any sort of skirmishes at all. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. But I think at the end of this, she's gonna, that shot you see in the trailer, Michael, it ends tonight, and all this thing, and off she goes to mono a womano again with her nemesis, and that's how the final movie will transpire. I can't imagine it's just the two of them in the Myers house just sitting down and talking. I can't imagine that, but I'm kind of hoping that they do something a bit weird. And now hear me out here. We know that if this is a tired old franchise and we want it to deliver on what it's built on, stalk and slash, kill, a few revelations now and again, but good acting and great score from Mr. Carpenter again, and just great shocks and scares and suspense. Don't try and be too clever. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. There's no point, because we know we all know what we want from this. And we know what we want them to deliver. But within those parameters, this is the end of a cycle, and that very word, transcends. Each time he kills, he transcends a bit more. Well, what's he becoming? Well, you're going to find out, I hope, in Halloween Ends, and it will be a confrontation, a series of revelations. Maybe he will talk, because how else is she going to know what's happening? Are we going to have some kind of, literally he will transform into, have bat wings or something like, and horns? Well, no, I don't reckon. But I reckon they're going to try and explore it in a metaphorical sort of way, so that you'll have kills, but they'll be nowhere near, because he's reached the pinnacle, and she's going to stop him before that full transformation, that full transcendence, actually happens. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot in that trailer. A lot of good stuff. Some stuff that I kind of wish they hadn't put in there. But I can also understand why look, they've waited so long. The fans are going crazy for it. If you're watching this now, damn well all the forums are alive with this debate. Everyone's loving it, mostly loving it, but everyone's looking forward to seeing this movie. So it's worked on that score alone. But I think, and I kind of hope, the fact that they've said this is the action one, and then it's going to close on a much more intimate, personal note, and it'll be a lot quieter. But it's got to turn into something else. They've got to address this fact that he's supernatural. What makes him tick? What is that thing? Is he killing on purpose? Just killing because he's gaining strength from it, and he's got to do this. But what's the purpose? What is it? Laurie wasn't the purpose. Although, if you go back and look at Halloween 1 again, he is stalking Laurie. He's outside her school. He's on the street. He's watching her. He's in the garden next door, hiding in the washing lines. He has singled her out. He has done that. But you don't know why. The original Halloween 2 seeks to explain that and botches it all up. I've said a lot that I think Halloween 2 should be involved in this timeline as well, because they actually gave the best excuse in Halloween 2018 when Alison is talking to her mates. Oh, and of course that dickhead bozo boyfriend is going to be in this, and hopefully, we're not sure, he definitely gets confronted by Michael, but hopefully he's going to fucking die as well. And of course he's the son of Tommy Doyle, isn't he? No, he's the son of Lonnie. Hey Lonnie, get your ass away from there. He's the son of Lonnie, isn't he? I think he is, because Lonnie's in this now. And everyone from the first movie is in this. Even Charles Cyphers, Sheriff Lee Brackett, he's the security guard at the hospital, at the hospital, Haddonfield General. But where was I going with that? I hope you guys are keeping it. Someone's taking the minutes here. Someone. I just can't trust these fucking bozos, mate. Bogeymen, all of them. And so, I'm not sure where I was going, but the point is that I'm looking forward to this. And the third part, I think, will turn a corner, and you're never going to lose Michael Myers, because it can be reinvented again and again and again and resurrected. You've got different timelines. That was what I was saying. There you go, timelines. That's reminded me. Alison is talking to her mates in Halloween 2018, and they're going, wasn't it a brother or something? Oh well, that was just something that the newspaper men made up, the media invented. Exactly. That's the events of Halloween 2 could still have happened. The fact he's shot in both eyes, well, we now know wouldn't matter anyway. But you can say, well, but didn't he die in a fire and was shot in the face and everything? She was disturbed. They just say they were hallucinations and images and memories all fractured about that night. But that would make her trauma, her 40-year-long trauma, a lot more effective and believable, really. And I know I've covered this ad infinitum, this whole survivalist Sarah Connor attitude that Laurie's got. Either way, folks, I'm totally ecstatic that it's on the way, and there does feel like there's a huge Michael Myers upsurge again. The net's just full of it, forums are full of it, just Myers. I've been playing the music ever since from Halloween 2018. John Carpenter, we know, is scoring Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. By the way, I still fucking hate those titles. I think I just don't get them. You know, Halloween 2018 is bollocks. Halloween The Shape, you know, and then for Halloween Kills. What? Does that just mean like, oh, it's like a subject heading, Halloween Kills, and like basically you're listing all the population of Haddonfield getting off by Michael Myers. Well, here's all the Halloween Kills so far, and then Halloween Ends. I mean, I like at the end of this soundtrack to Halloween 2018, you have a track called Halloween Triumphant. That would be a better title. Halloween Ends, or they just mean like it's dawn the next day. Fucking hell, this has been the longest night ever, you know. It's gone on for friggin' years. But anyway. Comment below, let me know. And if you haven't subscribed, I'm gonna do what all the other channels do, like right at the start of the videos they go like, hey, don't forget now, subscribe for much more content. Hit that like button if you like what you've seen. And don't forget, click the little bell for notifications when new videos come on. Because YouTube likes to ditch people who've subscribed from time to time. We don't know why. No, it means people are just going like, you know what, I'm fucking sick of this channel, and just unsubscribe. I do it, you know. No hints there, don't do that to me. Hit that like button, subscribe and share, and do all that kind of blab. And hey, let's be careful out there, especially in Haddonfield. Population about 1.5 by now at the end of this movie. Folks, there's a few little things to chew over there, to mull over and think about. But even though I don't want to get ahead of what's happening, this is going to be one hell of a bloodfest, isn't it? It's going to be a slaughterhouse, this movie, quite clearly. We know that for a fact. And that trailer really showed just how intense it's going to be. But what's going to happen in the final movie? I'm now thinking, ooh, because of those little enigmatic lines, he transcends. What's he becoming? What level is he moving up to? I mean, he's already a boss level, isn't he? You know, you can't take him down. So, will he and Laurie merge together and become some satanic overlord? I don't know. Folks, have been always shall be Kilt-Man at your services. Although today I'm coveralls man. You guys take it easy, keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all later. Oh, by the way, I'm going warm.